What is going on, everybody? It is SK with the SKOL Report, and we have a very special guest with us today. Darrell Mattison, father of Alexander Mattison, third-round pick out of Boise State, running back. How's it going, man?
I'm great. I'm feeling good. Thanks for having me.
You got your Vikings stuff on.
Yeah, I had to.
I'm glad you came in the purple.
Yeah,
you got to look the part.
Yeah,
you got to look the part. So exactly. So I'm gonna jump right into it.
Okay.
What was your initial reaction of hearing your son's name being called?
Well, they call you before you actually get the thing on TV. So all our emotions and everything had already took place because we were sitting there and it was me and him looking at our phones trying to decide, what team was what.
Yeah.
And when he said he did, spoke to the Vikings, I said, well, if they're going to pick you, they're going to have to call you now because there's only 2 teams left.
Mm-hmm.
And then his phone rang. And as soon as he said, yes, sir, everybody got quiet and, trying to hold in the emotion. And as soon as he hung up, and I knew it was the Vikings, nobody else did because me and him had said it, and we just exploded, the whole family.
Man,
so we had like 25 very close family members and friends that helped, shape him through his life. That's how he wanted it.
Yeah, I saw the video. It looked like a fun time. I can't imagine the feeling of just having a family member, but when it's your son and someone you brought up his whole life, it's just a certain proud feeling that you have.
More than anything else, it's watching your child's dream, his life whole dream. That's the part. That's the proud father part. Of course, you're playing in the NFL. That's exciting. But to watch whatever your child's dream was, to watch it actually come to fruition right there, and to share it with him, that was the part that got me. I couldn't even watch any of the clips for like maybe the first 3 days because it just kept choking me up every time.
Now it's just full excitement.
Yeah.
You're ready for football season.
I've never been this excited for a football season.
I'm honestly right there with you.
Yeah.
But now that the dust is kind of settled, has it really set in? Like, do you have, obviously it's a different feeling from the initial reaction, but now it's kind of, has it set in really that he is an NFL player? It's
set in, but it's still, to use this word, surreal. Like it's not. It's like when you get up and you're like, okay, did that happen? You still have that did it happen feeling about it.
You gotta see it.
I gotta see it. Now I'm seeing him go through the process of it, going to mini rookie camp, and now at the premiere for the Cards this weekend. Now it seems like a little more. And my sister got her jersey first. Mine's still coming. So it's real because we're touching it now. We're touching it now.
Yeah, I can't wait to see him get out on that field. It's gonna be really fun. But just as his upbringing, there's a different feel about this guy. Like it's not just an athlete. He does it on and off the field. As far as his academics, he was all Mountain from San Bernardino, California.
Well, in our household, education was first. So if your grades weren't good, I don't care how good you are in any sport, you won't play.
Exactly.
And so even when he was in Junior All-American, if his homework wasn't done, he'll be on the sidelines finishing his homework before he can even start practice. And so he was kind of conditioned to do it. And I said, well, if you have a real love for this or a passion for this, then you'll put in the work. Yeah. And the thing is, football is a sport where it's high collision, injuries. There's no guarantees. Yeah. So you have to make sure, also being an African American, coming out of San Bernardino, that you have to do something to set yourself apart.
Yes.
Even with the NFL, I knew when he got in the rooms with these different GMs and coaches, he's a high character guy.
Yes.
And they're going to look back and see that never had a problem, 4.7 out of high school, did everything he was supposed to. And so there, from that point, I knew it wouldn't be a problem. But it's education, hands down, was first before anything else. And once he got that, he thrived on it. Yeah. He didn't want to get a B because you couldn't get it as. I didn't care what the school said you could play football with. You weren't playing with a C average in my house.
Yeah, exactly.
So once he started getting A's, like he said, he had a thirst for A's. And so once you get that passion for it, it all just becomes easy for him.
And like you said, it kind of instilled a work ethic into not just football, but just into life, just into doing what you want to do. You can't just go out there and expect to practice and say, I'm going to be an NFL player. There's a lot more that comes along with that. And we talked about it before we started this interview. There's a lot more than just going out there and saying, oh, I'm going to go to the NFL and I'm going to be an NFL player. No, it's academics. It's the way you carry yourself, because when you do get to the NFL, you are setting a standard. You are a role model, especially in the position that he's in.
Exactly.
He's a running back. It's quarterback, running back, receiver. Those are the guys that get the most shine, that the camera is on the most. So by him having that background and that work ethic and just the way he carries himself, I believe is a huge benefit for him going into the NFL, and it's only going to help him prosper throughout the league and throughout his career.
He always set his goals, like even going to his senior year. He wanted the Ken Hubbs Award, which is a big award out here.
Yeah.
But you have to be a Threesport athlete. So he started wrestling, I want to say his junior year.
Yeah.
And by his senior year, he was, all state. Same with the 110 hurdles. That wasn't anything he did, but he did those extra things because he wanted to set his mind on getting that goal. So with anything, if you're going to, like with math, you got to practice math. And the practice that you get in class, you still got to do it when you get home as homework.
Exactly.
Same thing with football. If you're going to go to practice, when you get home from practice, you still got to practice.
Exactly.
If you're going to be better than the next person.
Study film.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The only kid I know that when I would go in his room, he'll have the Madden on, but it just be the computer. And it's just, they're playing each other, and he's just watching what they're doing.
Yeah.
And so he's studying the defenses from that standpoint without playing it.
Yeah.
Or I go in and he's falling asleep and ESPN's on, or watching classic football games.
Yeah.
So he studied it. He's a real student of the game.
It's not just studying; it's also the love for the game
love of
too.
it. Oh, he
And not
loves
a lot of kids go back and want to see the history of the actual game. They like Odell Beckham.
Yeah.
They want to see the now guy.
Exactly.
Go back and watch a Jim Brown. Go back and watch a Walter Payton.
Barry Sanders.
And that's not only that's going to give you that much more advantages going into the league, because you see how these guys played and the love of the game that they had. Because obviously the numbers are a lot more than what they were back then, and guys are putting their lives on the line to play the game that they love. So
did he know who Alexander was? And he said the things he said about Alex weren't about football. It was about him as a person, as a character. And he said, I felt like I was his dad. Like he said, I choked up. Or, my friend in Arizona, they ran into some people that were nurses from Boise. And it's always been the quality of person he was. Yeah. And then he's a great football player. But the two go hand in hand.
Yeah, exactly.
And I like to hear more that he's a good person. When he had a signing party at San Bernardino, he had a friend that maybe had been his friend since third grade, and an overweight guy with like a lot of acne and everything. And when he got up and spoke, he said, I don't know if I'd have still graduated and been in school if Alexander wouldn't have remained my friend.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who you are, what you look like. I'm the captain of the football team. You've been my friend since third grade.
Yeah.
And you're going to be my friend now. It doesn't make a difference of who you are. You treat everybody the same way. You don't differentiate between people, and that's what I appreciate about how he is.
Yeah, it's going to fit in perfect with the culture of this Vikings team. So I'm going to lighten it up a little bit for you now.
Okay.
Now, most people know you are a Chiefs fan, or were a Chiefs fan. So Vikings take a little trip to Kansas City this year, week 9, to play the Kansas City Chiefs. So who you got in that game? Who you got in that game?
Well, of course, I'm going to be cheering for my son.
Okay.
But I'm going to have his jersey on.
There's a
I'm going to have his jersey on. And I'm still going to sit on the home side. I'm going to have his jersey on.
Okay.
But I'm wearing my Chiefs hat.
Okay, I mean, I gotta respect it. There's a loyal,
I've been a
part
Chiefs
to
fan
this.
far too long.
Me personally, I'm really, really excited with Alexander coming into this Minnesota Vikings team. And I know a lot of guys in the locker room are excited to have him. Just like I said earlier, he's going to fit in perfect with this culture and just the things he does on and off the field. But what I look for with him going into this season, that he's going to have plenty of opportunities to succeed on this team, whether that be a goal line back, or whether that be a short yardage back, or whether that comes down to him filling in for Dalvin Cook at times. I think he's going to do a lot for this team, whether that's running the ball, receiving the ball, whatever it may be. I think he's going to really add to this team and give us a real dimension with this running back core. Because Dalvin Cook, he does what he does. I'm sure you've looked up things. How is my son going to pair with Dalvin Cook?
Yeah, exactly.
So, and we've been looking for a hard-nosed guy that's going to hit the hole hard, that's going to put his shoulder down. And we have that guy in Latavius Murray, but to be completely honest with you, I like what Alexander brings with his aggressiveness. Latavius was kind of an upright runner. Alexander's going to put his shoulder down.
Like Eddie George.
Exactly.
Through high school and through Boise, he gets stronger as the game. The more carries he gets, the stronger he gets. And you'll see it if you watch any of his older footage. A lot of teams they wouldn't tackle him, become arm tackles as opposed to anything else.
So gonna run right through it.
Yeah, that won't work.
Now you're not gonna get that in the NFL, so it's
exactly.
gonna be a little tough in that. But I like the tenacity he brings to this running back core, and I think he's going to fit very, very well with Dalvin Cook. And like I said, he could have opportunity to start this year, so he's in a very good spot to really get some good touches and to have an opportunity.
I want to see
to
him
succeed.
get some work because a lot of things that he was underestimated in was his catching.
Yeah.
They just didn't do a lot of that at Boise.
Yeah.
It was more downfield, but his hands are awesome.
And one thing I wanted to point out is his durability.
Yes.
He's had he's first in overall carries in the Mountain West Conference, and I think was the last 2 years.
Yeah, and he was number 2 in the country in carries.
And no injuries, no serious injuries.
He's never missed a game.
Yeah.
Fumbled one time in 3 seasons. So he's dependable.
And that's one thing that I know the Vikings really shot for him for. We need somebody that's durable behind Dalvin Cook, and that's exactly what Alexander gives us. So.
I'm gassed for the season.
Me too.
When was the moment you knew?
So, raising Alexander throughout the years and watching him play football, was there one moment that really stood out to you that was like, okay, he has the potential to play at the next level? Not necessarily NFL at that time, but okay, he can go to college and be very successful playing football in college. Was there like a play or a game that really stood out for you?
I want to say it was his junior year, and they played against Vista Del Lago.
Okay.
And at the time, I can't remember who the running back was, but basically he was the number 1 running back in our county. And the one thing Alex has always done is he seems to excel when he goes against another top running back. And that game, their running back ended up getting like 75 yards and one carry, and Alex actually went off for like 275 yards and 3 touchdowns. So at that time, I saw him head-to-head to what was considered the cream of the crop, and he excelled. And then, of course, his senior year when he broke the record. And then going to Boise, and it was 8 running backs when he got there, and to be number 2.
His freshman year.
Yeah, his freshman year, and not graduating early.
Yeah.
So getting there in July, they sent him the playbook, he studied the playbook, and I'm ready to go when I get here in July.
And that's something that you can admire too. Somebody that shows up when it comes to competition. A lot of guys shy away from that. You see a guy that's settled into his spot, and they bring in a younger cat that's a little faster, maybe a little bit more physical. Kind of shy away from that competition, and it becomes the younger guy's spot. And I like what you said with him. He steps up to competition and say, okay, it's the number 1 running back in the city. It's the number 1 running back in the state. All right, I'm gonna run for 270 plus yards and 3 touchdowns.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly. So that's what I've watched him do. He's never shied away from competition. And on a note that's different, he actually they were like a 1-2 punch his sophomore year, and the kid in front of him decided he didn't want to compete his junior year, and that's how he got the full starting position, because that guy ended up transferring to a different school because he didn't want to compete.
And side note, Alexander actually had an opportunity to transfer to another school and decide to stay. Actually, was it a Division I high school?
It's funny. It's Santa Margarita.
Yeah.
So, the ironic thing was, the running back that was at Boise this year was their starting running back.
They wanted that,
and so he would have been playing behind
pipeline.
him. But he went down there and he said, they had the president, the principal, all of the coaches on a random day in summer.
Yeah.
And when we got back, I said, well, Alex, do you want to go? And he said, no, I don't want to go somewhere, because I think they had the number 1 quarterback, ESPN too. He said, I don't want to go somewhere where they're already established. I want to start it, and we win together, we lose together, but I'm not going to go somewhere where it's already done.
Just another thing that speaks volumes of his character. And I think that's where he's going to fit in perfect with this team, because there's a lot of real character guys in this roster. So I'm excited. I know you're excited. I know you're going to be at a few games this year. I know
I'm already checking them off.
We're going to attend some games together for sure. We got the Chargers game out here in LA. We're definitely going to make a trip out, or I'm going to make a trip out to at least one Minnesota game. I know you are as well.
So we can coordinate and let me know, and I'll make sure I'm at that one.
For the parents.
Most definitely.
Last question for the parents.
Yeah, for the parents and everything. So it's going to be fun, man. It's going to be fun. I can't wait. And looking forward to it. So again, it was a pleasure, man.
No problem.
I'll be talking to you soon. I'm sure we'll get a couple more interviews.
Whenever you need me, I got you.
Yeah, most definitely. So it is SK again with the SKOL Report, and I will talk to you guys soon. SKOL Vikings.
Hey.